Last one is the huge one that everyone is talking about. I debated doing a live reaction to it.
Before we do this whole thing, it involves James Harden and Ben Simmons. Big blockbuster of the day. Let me tell you what the Nets gave up for Harden 12 months ago. Okay. They gave up Jared Allen, Karis LeVert, Taurean Prince, 2022 first, 2024 first, 2026 first, 2021 first round pick swap, 2023 first round pick swap, 2025 first round pick swap, 2027 first round pick swap. That's to get James Harden 12 months ago. That's crazy.
Now they moved James Harden, that they took all that for Ben Simmons, Seth Curry, Andre Drummond, and 2 first-round picks. So the Sixers finally realized Ben Simmons is not worth a superstar. That's why you had to add in 2 of your best role players, and your future was mortgaged with first-round picks, and you got the oldest player in the trade. Yes, you got the best player in the trade, but you also got the oldest player in the trade, and you got rid of your first-round pick. So definitely, if you don't win now, your future's kind of messed up. Embiid
won. You got 2 years because Harden has accepted this player option for
that was the condition of the trade. The Sixers were going to cancel or veto the trade if he didn't do that. And so yeah, he's in there for 2 years. You got 2 years of Harden. Embiid won the night on Twitter, posted that meme of the dude that said showed up to my hater's funeral just to make sure he's dead.
Right.
And that was him like making sure Simmons was not coming back. So I thought that was hilarious. I'm not a big Embiid fan, but he's really good on Twitter. But yeah, so that occurred. I think the Sixers were one of those 3 teams I said were already going to make it to the finals. So adding Harden, I think that even more so.
Yeah, and the other team was too.
And the Nets are as well.
Yeah.
Adding Harden's amazing for them. I think Harden and Embiid are going to pair together really well. I think the key in this is the role that Tobias Harris plays. Is Tobias Harris going to be the second option, or is Harden going to be the second option? I think the natural response is Harden, but Harden wanted to leave the Nets because he doesn't want to be a second option. That's why he was unhappy that Kyrie wasn't there, because all of a sudden he's now being relied on. Like, oh, I actually have to perform and do what I want to do in order for the team to succeed.
This Harden and Embiid thing makes you like almost like drool at the possibilities for like Cat and D'Lo. For like their pick and roll game. Same thing with Harden and Embiid, like Harden and Embiid pick and roll
pop,
game.
Pick and roll, both of them. You can pick and roll, or Embiid can pick and pop. I saw somebody call him Embiid the best shooting big man of all time. No, that's Cat. Embiid can be it up the top, but it's Cat. But Embiid is a really good shooter, and I don't know. I think the Sixers got better because you have a human breathing with a beating heart on the floor, replacing somebody who was not even in your.
That is a superstar type talent.
It doesn't even matter. It could have been the janitor. He's doing more for your team than Ben Simmons was.
Right.
So the Sixers did a great job there. The Nets, in my opinion, if you're going to pick a winner of the trade, the Nets win the trade.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
But the Sixers are the team to beat. I think that they have the best 1-2 in the league. I can't think of a better 1-2. I know that Kyrie KD is there, but I don't consider that a 1-2 because one of those 2 is not there most of the time.
Right.
One of them is literally only there half the time. The other one is there.
They're both not there right now.
Right, exactly. But Harden's going to be there, and Embiid this year at least has maintained healthy.
Right.
So you got the best 1-2 in the league now, probably. I'm going to go with the Sixers probably make at worst the Eastern Conference Finals. It all depends on it all depends on if Harden can show up in the playoffs.
Right.
The Nets side, on the other hand, Ben Simmons, everybody's like, oh, is he even going to play? We don't know if he's going to play. We haven't seen him. Last time we saw him, he was wearing, he had a cell phone in his pocket at practice. That was the last time we even heard of Ben Simmons. Is he going to, I'm assuming Ben Simmons is immediately going to play.
Yeah.
If he doesn't, then I'm even more concerned about his mental health, if he's truly okay.
Right.
Like, then it's actually a genuine concern. It's not just, I didn't want to play.
And the Nets know the most about this situation.
Right.
So
but even without Simmons, they had Seth Curry, who is a way more consistent shooter than Joe Harris, and a way better shooter.
Yeah.
Well, all the time, whole career.
Well, there's that 1 year Joe Harris had an amazing year.
That's my exact point. Joe Harris has had one good year.
Yeah,
over
his career,
contract based on a year.
Yeah.
I think Joe Harris is probably the most overrated shooter in basketball.
Right.
He's when it came to the playoffs, he was probably their worst shooter in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
And he's supposed to be your best shooter.
Right.
I don't know. Seth Curry is somebody you'll actually be able to rely on. And then
imagine if they had like a Karis LeVert or something.
If they had like a Karis LeVert, a Spencer Dinwiddie to facilitate to LeVert or something like that.
Maybe even like a Jared Allen.
A Jared Allen. Well, they got their Jared Allen. They got a less athletic version of Jared Allen, but a stronger version in Andre Drummond. So now they got Andre Drummond, who I think is Ben Simmons is the
you don't need score. Like you have Kyrie, like assuming your lineup is Kyrie, Curry, KD, Simmons, and either Nick Claxton or Andre Drummond or Marcus Aldridge, one of those three. It doesn't matter what the fifth person does. Like you have three offensive pieces out there. That's more than enough. So.
I think they're actually going to run Simmons with Kyrie at the 2 because Kyrie wants to be the 2. That's why Harden was there to play the 1.
Right.
So I think Simmons is going to play the 1.
I think Curry's still going to be out there and KD's going to be out there. So, I mean, those 5 are interchangeable. It's positionless basketball. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Definitely. And I do think Seth Curry is going to be a 6-man. I don't know if he's going to start.
Yeah.
I think while KD's hurt, he'll start. But when they're like, if their full roster's healthy, I think Seth Curry is the 6-man. Whether or not I agree with that's where he should be, I think that's what they'll do.
All right. Him or Harris out there, if they want Blake Griffin, I don't know. It all depends.
But yeah, so that was the huge trade. I definitely think the Nets win it. So I had a salty morning. I kind of, woke up on the wrong side of the bed, had some rough, just a really rough morning.
I've had some rough mornings the last 2 days.
See, but you were sick. You had food poisoning.
Yeah.
I just, I got woken up rudely. I started off wrong, and then just things kept frustrating me.
Okay.
And it just kept. So I was angry. I've had a really angry day trying to get my camera set up and trying to figure out the DSLR camera rather than a webcam. And DSLR wasn't working. That's everything's been making me angry. So I was really salty. I made some comments on the internet that were a little crankier than usual. And one of them is the fact that James Harden, I'll tone it down here, but James Harden is leaving at the hardest time because he is scared of having to try. He went to Brooklyn because he thought he was going to be given a ring with me, Kyrie, and KD on the same team. Just give us the ring. He doesn't want to, and everybody was just so angry at me saying, oh, he's played for them every game. He's the only one that's been healthy. He's the only one putting up numbers the whole time. He's still, even with that, showing up is so much different than actually trying every time down the court. If you're actually watching the games, Harden is not there to try. Harden,
and it's not even Houston Harden. If he's the only one out there of the big three, it's not even Houston Harden.
Exactly. And now he was starting to begging and crying to get out of there because he realizes if the playoffs happen, I'm going to be relied on in the playoffs, and I don't want to do that because everybody knows that when I show up in the playoffs, half of me shows up and the other half of me stays at home.
Right.
So now he goes
the strip club. Sorry, he goes to the
Oh, gotcha. Right. Which is why I think he wanted to go to the Sixers so bad because Tobias Harris can be the 2 second scoring option, and he's got Embiid. I think he just wants to facilitate, and he thinks I'm on a super team that I can walk into the playoffs, and I only have to try for 1 series or 2 series. So last year I started gaining a ton of respect for Harden. The Houston thing happened, and I was like, I understand he's had a rough time. I'm not a huge fan. He's been let out of the MVP during times where he's deserved it. I started last year I started rooting for Harden, and I lost all of that this year.
Yeah, no. I mean, even when Harden was in Houston, okay, he doesn't try on defense. That's kind of right. That's okay. But the dude was putting up 60 points a night, 50, 60 points a night. So even if he's not playing defense, he's still accounting for half your points.
His plus minus is still going to be absurd, I'm sure.
Yeah.
I just couldn't
take one person up here for offense. You should have person down here, down here to cover that.
I just think from a character consistency standpoint, James Harden, when I think of James Harden, it's going to be, even if the Sixers win a ring, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if this dude retires after winning 1 ring because he did what he.
Hey, now, but think about this: if the Nets or the Sixers win the championship, he gets a ring.
There you go. He's maximizing his chance to win a ring because That's the one thing that everybody, I don't show up in the playoffs and I don't have a ring. I don't want to be one of those guys. I genuinely think all the decisions he's making are 100% selfish, Harden decisions. He would have done this if he would have gone from Houston to any other team and it wasn't looking good, he would have done this on any team. I lost a lot of he doesn't seem like a baller. Like a lot of people say, like, you need a baller on your team. You got to have a baller mentality. Like, when I think baller, I think like Steven Jackson. He wasn't necessarily like a superstar, but he was a baller on the court. Like, he will sacrifice a lamb before the game if it means he gets to start for 48 minutes.
All right.
James Harden's probably just like, nah.
He was like that in Houston, though. So like something just flipped with him,
right? Like something happened.
Baller in Houston, like,
well, was it the 0 for 13 night? Like, because that was the night that everything seemed to change for him.
Right? Maybe
like the last playoff game where he couldn't make a single shot, and now everybody starts talking about how James Harden's the worst playoff player ever. So like, I was already really salty, and I straight up said, I basically said he's just a punk. He punked out of Brooklyn. He's too scared to try to make a team for himself at this point in his career. He doesn't think he'll be able to carry, so he just is going for the easiest route possible, path of least resistance. Yeah, I had to get that off my chest because while basketball is better with James Harden in it, I would not be happy if the Wolves would have traded. Like, I would, if he's on the Timberwolves, I don't root for him. Yeah, like, that's how I don't care what team he's on. I'm gonna be rooting against the Sixers, rooting against the Nets. I can't. Yeah,
unless I see something that's like
unless he puts out a Jimmy Butler performance, the bubble heat like that.
Right.
Like if he
like T-Mac, like if the T-Mac 13 points in 33 seconds emotion, like that kind of like.
Right.
I'm gonna take over this game for the next.
Crumpled over, exhausted from the amount of effort you put in.
Yeah.
Or crying because the amount of effort you put in order to win.
Yeah.
It's going to take something astronomical, in my opinion. If I get it. He doesn't give a shit about my opinion.
Yeah.
Because, like, who am I to him? But my goodness. I mean, last pick in the All-Star game, pick.
Yeah.
KD would have taken, it was Rudy Gobert and him. KD would have taken Isaiah Thomas. KD would have taken some random that dude, Didi Louzada. He would have taken Didi Louzada before him.
Even LeBron didn't want him. He's like, is he even healthy? Can he play?
Covered his face. Yeah, so
he got traded. He's healthy.
Yeah, I don't like. I know it helps you get the clicks by being aggressive and being upfront. So if I were to actually like speak my mind, like I feel like my face is getting red. I'm very frustrated with James Harden because he's the exact, if I were to build a team in the NBA, he's the exact opposite personality I would want my star to have.
Are you wearing green pants?
No.
You could have gone like red, yellow. Red, yellow.
No, underwear's blue.
You're wearing underwear?
For the first time in a while, yeah. Let me know in the comments if you hate me now. All that. Go ahead. Call me an idiot. I don't care until he does something that earns until he does something that earns his teammates' respect as well. Like, there's nothing he can do that makes me think, why would you ever, I wouldn't consider him first ballot Hall of Fame. I wouldn't, nothing. He needs to do Tracy McGrady effort. He needs to do something.
35 points per game in the play, like that.
Something that shows you care about basketball. How about something that shows you care about basketball? Because right now you don't show me that you care about basketball. You show me that you care about Harden. I gotta stop. That's it for basketball in general. That's it for basketball. We'll jump onto the NFL. We went really long because I'm fucking pissed. And let's get into the NFL.